This is a short tutorial on how to use the playground at critical.com. Our platform is built from the open source version of MIT Scratch, so I will just focus on the new features we have added on top of it. To enter the playground, you just need to click the Create button. Let's start with the block palette on the left. The list of blocks will hide automatically, which gives you more space to edit your program. However, if you want to keep your block list open all the time, you just need to press down this pin on the top right. Of course, you can unpin it at any time. The search box on top allows you to search for blocks by the text on them. For example, if I search for color, then all the blocks that contain the word color will be returned. If you have signed in, then two more categories will become available. The recent category contains all the blocks that you have recently used. Whenever you use a new block, it will be added on top of this list. The frequent category contains all the blocks that you have been using the most frequently, and they are sorted by the number of times you have used each of them. So if you want to keep any of these blocks on top all the time, you can click the small pin next to that block. And you can unpin it if you no longer want it to be on top all the time. There is a plus icon next to every block. When you click on the plus icon, the block next to it will be added to your program directly, so you don't have to drag it there anymore. The new block will always be appended below the previous block you just added, so you can use these plus icons to build a program really quickly. When you make your own blocks, now you have the option of setting it as a round-shaped reporter block. This is like a function in other languages. And in the definition of this new block, you need to use the return block to set the return value. For example, let's change this block so that it will return 2 times the input value. Now I can use the double block anywhere I want to use a reporter block. For example, double 10 would give us a value of 20. You can also choose a different color for your blocks. Many new blocks have been added to make the block set more complete. For example, there is a new for loop, which uses a variable to control the repetition. There is a new reporter block for if-else branching. There are new operator blocks for processing text. There are more blocks for handling lists. And there are also blocks for working with tables. Now let's talk about the block editor. First, you can use these blue arrows to collapse all the stacks. This makes it really easy for you to organize your program as many small stacks. When you need to work on any particular stack, you can restore all the blocks in it using the green arrows. When you right-click on any stack of code, you can choose to export it as a PNG image file with transparent background. This is very handy if you need to show some code in your website or slides. When you can't find a block in your program, you can use the search box on top. For example, if I search for Go, then the first block that contains the word Go will be highlighted. When I press the triangle button, All such blocks will be highlighted one by one. I can even use this to look for the green flag block. I just need to search for flag. And you can cancel the search by pressing the X button. You can also change the background color of the block editor. For example, when you are in a dark room, a darker background will reduce the glares from the computer screen. In the costume editor, we have also added many new shapes in the toolbar. As you can see, the shapes with rounded corners usually look better on screen. You can also change the outlines of the shapes into dotted lines. You just need to set the width of the line segments. Now let me explain how you can debug a program using the playground. Here is an example program. It uses a for loop that sets the variable to go from 1 to 3, and inside the for loop, it runs another block move and turn. The first method to debug a program is to print messages. We can use this block which says print something in where, right? So we'll choose alert. So this will allow us to print any message as an alert window. For example, let's use the join block to create a message. We would say the value of steps is space, and then we put the steps variable there. Now, if we run this program, it will run as usual, but when it reaches the print block, it will be blocked. And it will show this alert window which says, this is a debug message from sprite 1, and the message is the value of steps is 1. So the program will pause until you click OK. After that, it will continue until it reaches the next print, which will say the value of steps is 2. And then click OK again, it will reach the next print. Now if I OK it again, it will reach the end of the program. The second method for debugging is to use a breakpoint. The breakpoint is a new block we added. You can place it anywhere in your program. Now let me take out the print and put in a breakpoint. Now to debug this program, you need to click the blue arrow button. It says debug mode. When I run it, the program will run until it reaches the first breakpoint. At this time, it will pause. You can do anything you like. You can check the value of variables. You can even run other programs. It will simply stop there, wait for you. When you are done, you can click the blue arrow again. The program will continue to run again until it reaches the next breakpoint. And then you can click again to reach the next breakpoint. And at the end, we run out of breakpoints and then the program stops. The third way to debug your program is to run it step by step. For that, you don't need any of these special blocks. You just need to click the orange triangle button. When you do, the program will execute one block and then wait there. And then you click on this button again, it will highlight the next block, execute it, and then wait there. So this allows you to go through the logic step by step. When it is waiting, you can do anything else you want, like checking the value of a variable or running other blocks. Or you can keep going until the end of this program. When you are running a 3D program, there are some new tools you can use. For example, let's create a very simple 3D program with an empty scene and a box and then a sphere. All right. Now, when you run it, you get a 3D scene. You can now use this 3D only mode, which will dedicate half of the page to the 3D stage. And then on the left half, you can still edit your code. Also, when you switch to the full screen mode, you will notice that there are no white margins on the left or right. We are actually making use of the full page. The gizmo buttons on top allow you to manipulate 3D objects manually. For example, suppose I enter the translation mode. Now you can use the 3 arrows to drag and change the position of these 3D objects. See, you need to click on the one you want to change, and then you just need to drag these arrows. And you can press the button again to exit the translation mode. In the normal mode, the spread pane at the bottom also gives us more information about the object. For example, suppose I name the box as B and the sphere as S. Now I can select one of the objects from this dropdown, such as the box, and then I can read its position, its scaling factor, and also its rotation angles. I can also change these numbers to observe the result. Like I can change its scaling factor to 40% in the Z direction. I can rotate around the y-axis. I can also change its x position. So you can use all these numbers in the blocks in your program. On some computers, the browser page may not be tall enough to show all the information here. There is a workaround. You can click on the 3 dots and then change the zoom ratio of the browser temporarily. After you get the information, you can change the zoom ratio back. There are also some new ways for you to share your project. When you click the Share menu, you can click on Share, which is the same as Scratch sharing model. Everyone can see your project, they can run it, they can remix it, they can look inside it. But when you choose to share with friends, then it will only be visible to other users who you have approved as your friends. Now you can also choose to publish your project, either to everyone or only to your friends. When you publish a project, others can run your project, but they cannot look inside your source code, and they can also not remix your project. So it's sort of like closed source software. Now let me save this project as demo and then go back to the My Stuff page. As you can see, when you have many projects, you can use the search box to help you search through your project. For example, if I say demo, then I will see all the projects that has the word demo in them. You can also search for the blocks inside the projects. For example, we have a block that's called move and turn, right, in the demo project. When I do that, see, now I get the demo project we just created. Lastly, let's look at the Explore page. As you can see, for every project, we have added 3 numbers below it. The number of likes, the number of views, and then the number of blocks. So the block count is a great way to help you estimate the complexity of a project. If you are a beginner, you can look for projects that use less blocks. The search box on top has also been enhanced to allow you search for blocks. For example, suppose you want to learn how to use 3D textures. You can simply search for texture, and now you get all the projects that are using blocks that are related to 3D texture. If you want to further filter down the result, you can click on the small drop-down arrow, and then you can set whether the project is by your friend, whether it is a 3D or 2D project, and also the number of blocks and number of visits. You can cancel the search by clicking on the X. You can find more information on the About page. And if you have more questions or comments, please feel free to email us at info@critical.com. Thank you for watching and enjoy coding.